And then adjacent, what's adjacent to C? 40. Why is it not 41? Because that's the hypotenuse. Good. So now, just write your ratio. What's opposite? 9. What's adjacent? 40. And then what do you have to check? Can you reduce? No. So that's your answer. Okay, I did one of each trig ratio. Do we have any questions? Okay, be sure to simplify when you can. Okay, there will be times where you have to simplify. Questions before I move to the back?
No.
All right, flip. Now let's look at number 11. All right, number 11. We are actually finding the missing side now. We're going to follow the same steps from before. So we're going to circle the angle that they give us. And now we're going to label the sides first, what they give us. So x, what side is x related to 53? That is the adjacent side, so label it adjacent. What side is 14? Why is that one the hypotenuse? It's across from the right angle, yep. So that is our hypotenuse. Now we have to pick our trig ratio. Which trig ratio has adjacent and hypotenuse? It is cosine, or you can think which one has AH. Okay, so it's cosine. Now we have to write the equation. You always want the trig first with its angle. So cosine of the angle equals, well, what does cosine equal? What does cosine equal over here? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're going to do the same thing. What did we label as adjacent? X. What did we label as hypotenuse? 14. How can I turn this into something so I can solve? Put it over 1. Yep, and then we're going to cross multiply. Now here's a trick. Okay? When you cross multiply, I'm taking cosine of 53 times 14. Okay? I'm going to write it out for now. And then what is on the other side? 1 times x, which is x. So what are we doing to solve? Right, and we're multiplying. So get out your calculator. If you need one, you might have to share. Okay. Type in 14 times cosine of 53. Someone shout something out when you get it. 8.42. It is 8.4. Please raise your hand if you got something different because your calculator's in the wrong mode if you did. Did everyone get 8.4? Okay. Understand what we're finding. What is this? What did we just find? X, which x is what? The adjacent side. So we just found one side length. Okay? So if you're cross multiplying and they happen to multiply to each other, you just multiply those two together.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I need to see this part. I do not need to see this part if you don't want to write that part. Okay, but I need to see this. Okay? Let's look at number 12. Okay, what's the first thing that we need to do? Circle your angle, and then what? Label your sides. What side is x? Opposite because it's cutting across, so x is our opposite. What is 18? It's the hypotenuse. So now we have to identify the trig ratio. Which one uses opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So we are going to use sine. What do I write first when writing my equation? Sine of the angle, right? Okay. And then what does sine equal? Opposite over hypotenuse, which is x over 18. How do I turn it into something I can solve? Over 1. What's going to happen? Cross multiply. Multiply those two together. See what you get. All right, let's look at one that will look a little different. Let's look at number 14 right below it. What's the first thing we're going to do? Circle and label. What side is 14? Opposite. 14's opposite. What's x? Adjacent. Which trig ratio uses opposite and adjacent? Tangent. Now we got to write our ratio. What do I write first? Tan 48. There you go. And then tangent equals opposite 14 over adjacent x. How can I turn that into something I can solve? Over 1. What is different about this one than the other two that we just did? We're going to divide instead of multiply. What I want you to realize is if I'm multiplying tangent of 48 and x, does everyone see that? If I'm multiplying those, think that those two are just going to swap places. Okay, let me explain. Let me work it out. So if we cross multiply, we get tangent of 48 times x. Everyone agree?
Yes.
And then what do I get on the other side? 14. How would I normally get x by itself? I would divide, right? So I'm going to divide by tangent of 48. Tangent of 48 on both sides. What do you notice between here and here? They just flipped. They switched places. Tangent of 48 swapped places with x. So you can think of it that way instead of having to write this down. Okay? How can I type that in my calculator? Yep, make sure it's 14 divided by tangent of 48. Make sure it's the number divided by the trig. What did you get for x? Try again. It is 12.6. Okay. Let's do one more where it's dividing. I want you to try number 20. All of you go try number 20, following those same steps. First thing you do is what? Circle and label.
Yep.
What's 20? Adjacent, what's x? Hypotenuse. What do you do next? Pick one. Which one is adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine. What do I write first in the equation?
Cosine over 1.
Cosine is 71. Over 1. Good. Equals. What does cosine equal?
20 over x.
Adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 20 over x. What is going to happen when you cross multiply? You're going to end up dividing. So you're going to take 20 divided by cosine of 71. And you should get x equals 61.4.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, but
Good.